So, first off, from yesterday, what does this value mean? What is it graphically?
Y-intercept.
Y-intercept. So step C in all your homework was to look at the number or parameter C. That's the y-intercept. So that's the point 0, comma, whatever that number is, 0, comma 6 on your graph. That's like a free point every time you graph. Very important. So let's go ahead and start. What we're going to be doing is just continue on what we did. Yeah, continuing what we did before. One little thing will change. Let's just go ahead and start this problem just like we would start any other problem. Let's go ahead and try to factor it. So write that function down. F of x equals negative 4x squared plus 16x minus 18. Write that down. And let's try to factor it. See what you get. You might want to start with a GCF. And if you want, you can also take out a negative. Some people like to take out a negative. So 2 is a GCF, a negative if you like that for factoring purposes. So from here, there's A, here's C, and here is B, negative A. So what two numbers multiply to 2 times 9, 18, and add to negative 8? What are those two? Then 6 negative 3 adds to negative 9. That's added negative 8. So this is the dilemma you guys are going to fall into today. Yesterday you were given quadratics that factor really nice. Well, 2 integers, maybe 1 integer, 1 fraction, very doable to solve. You could always complete this x. But what if you're given an equation like this that you cannot factor? Okay, first of all, what does that mean? Does it mean that there are no solutions? Not necessarily. It just means either the roots are going to be irrational, so the answer could be like plus or minus the square root of 14. And we can't get the root of square root of 14 from this, from all this x marks the spot stuff. So it doesn't mean there are no solutions, it just means we can't get them from factoring. Or it is possible there actually are no solutions. It doesn't cross the x-axis at all. So that's what you're going to be dealing with today. So what happens if you don't, or you're not able to factor? It says right here, you're not factor and solve if possible. If not, t-table. So we have to go back to just making a t-chart. X and F of x. Now, what's that point called that's in the middle of your graph? Vertex. Vertex. That's the point you want to put in the middle of your t-chart. So let's find the vertex. I'm going to put that right in the middle. So it's going to be in the middle of your graph and the middle of your t-chart. So x sub v equals what? What's the formula?
Negative b over 2a.
All right, go ahead and calculate that. Now you can either use this here, with b and the a here, or you can use the b and the a here. You'll get the same answer. Either way. Go ahead and calculate that. See what you get. 9. Yep.
Why is it F times X?
F of X?
Yeah. Why isn't it Y?
Same as Y. They're used interchangeably now.
Okay.
And it comes out to 2. 2. Alright. Now find what? Yeah. Now find what is F of 2. -4 times 2 squared plus 16 times 2 minus 18. The original equation. Yes. Has to be on the original equation. Plug it back in. Alright. After a little arithmetic or calculator work, you get -2. Alright. So the vertex is at, yeah, highlight this. So we get the x and the f of x, or the y, whatever you want to call it. So we get 2 and -2. The x is coming from right here, the negative b over 2a, and the f of x is coming from where we plug in f of 2. So you see where that's your starting point. It's actually the middle of the t-chart. Now we want to, let's go ahead and graph it. Graph that one point. 2, -2. Now is this opening up or opening down?
Going down.
Down, right? -4, down. So this is the top, this is the max, which means it does not cross the x-axis. It has no solutions. This is a no solution graph. What is step C? What's the y-intercept? Yeah, y-intercept C is C, -18. So there's the y-intercept. So -18, there we go. What you want to do now is pick 2 points that are less than the vertex here. I want to go down, so let's say 1 and 0. And you also want to find 2 more that are above, 3 and 4. Right here? Over here? Yes. Yes, you can. So the nice thing here is that our t-chart kind of we want 1 and 0, but if you have a 0 for your x, that's the y-intercept. 0, -18. So we don't have to plug in 0 again. We already know it from the y-intercept. Most of the time this does not happen, but it does here. And what someone just mentioned is that, well, if you know it's right here, and it's 1 away from the axis of symmetry, you know on the other side, it's also -18. So 4 also gives you -18. Kind of get that for free just from the graph. You notice it's symmetric. It's the same on both sides. Right?
Always like that?
Same on both sides, always, always, always. It will be same on both sides on your t-chart as well. So your graph and your t-chart should be symmetrical, with the vertex in the middle of both. Vertex in the middle of the graph, it's in the middle of the t-chart.
The t-chart's kind of visual, huh?
The graph is visual, and the t-chart also. Just one's a graph, one's numbers, but they have the same properties. So it kind of gives you a clue. If you have a symmetric graph, but your t-chart is not, you know something's wrong. It also lets you know that, well, if I plug in 1 and get an answer, it should be the same exact thing as that if I plug in 3. So I can plug in 1 or 3 and those will be the same answer. So I really only have to do one of them, and I get the other one for free. So it's up to you. You can pick whichever one you want. Let's plug in 1. What's f of 1? So we got negative 4 times 1 squared plus 16 times 1 minus 18. And what do you get? Nothing. So we get negative 6, 1 comma, negative 6 would be right here. And we get the other side for free. So that means 3 equal distance from the middle will also be negative 6. So right here is also symmetric. And then using your best artistic skills possible, draw a curve through this. So it's going to be a so right when it hits the y-intercept, it goes to the left side of the y-axis. And then make sure this is like a curve. It's not a point, it's not absolute value, it's a curve. And these are still going outward a little bit. Still going outward a little bit. Now it looks almost straight down, looks like a U, but it's not. They still move outward just a little bit. All right. Are we finished? Is that it?
No.
No.
Domain and range.
Yeah, we just did this. We still need to know, is this a min or a max?
Max.
Domain is all real, yes. Meaning we can really pick anything here. I can pick 1.25, I can pick square root of 2, I can plug anything I want into here. But my answers are all where? Negative 2 and below, right? That's where the graph is. It's at negative 2 and down. So y is less than or equal to negative 2. All right. So very similar to last night, it's just that you're not going to be able to factor and solve. So instead, you go to a table. How do you make the table? Put the vertex in the middle, pick a few points less than the vertex, and a few points more. So you get points on either side. And then you should see the symmetry in the graph here and in the table here. When I'm checking your work, I'll be looking, could I connect these lines just like I am here and see the same number both places. Same number in both places. If not, then there's something wrong. It's kind of nice because you really only have to do the vertex and then half, and you get the other half for free. Because of the graph, you can see that, well, if there's a point here, there's also one on the other side. Okay, that's 3 comma negative 6. So I don't really have to plug in 3 and find out it's the same as if I plug in 1. All right, so I'm going to pass out your homework. Maybe we'll do one together, and then we'll start. What? Well, in this one, it's kind of easier to do that, but not every problem will be like this. It depends. If the y-intercept is like right here, but it's so far away, what is in between?
No, it doesn't taste like good, but okay.
No fair. Let's look at number 5. Again, we're going to, for this assignment, we can assume that, yeah, these are not going to be factorable. All right, in general, you don't want to do that. In general, you do not want to just assume they're not factorable. So we could go through here and see that if we did try to do the x, we would have what multiplies to positive 6 and adds to negative 6, and we would not be able to do that. If we did, it would just be like last night and be quick to graph. But it's not, so today we are going to go through and make a table of values, or a T-chart it's called. What value goes in the middle? What's it called? Vertex, yeah. Middle of your graph, middle of your T-chart, that's where you always begin. So x sub v is negative v over 2a. Go ahead and calculate that. X sub v, the x value for your vertex, negative v of 2a. You have negative of negative 6 all over 2 times negative 1. Equals
Negative 3. Negative 3.
plug in f of negative 3. We have negative 9 plus 18 minus 6 equals negative 3. 3? Yep. So, I have negative v over 2a gave me negative 3. That's where this came from. Did that first. Second, I took that same negative 3, plugged it into our original function. That's how I got the positive 3. That's the f of x value or the y value. Remember, f of x is the same as y. And now you have your first point. So, negative 3, comma 3. Okay. All right. Let's pick a few points. So what's less than negative 3?
Negative 1.
Negative 4. 4. Negative 5. And bigger than negative 3 is
1.
Negative 2 and negative 1. Now, what is the y-intercept?
Negative 6.
Yeah, it's negative 6. You'll notice, though, there's no negative 6 on the y-axis, so we can't really use our y-intercept in this problem. This problem really shows why you need the table. We don't have any solutions. We don't have any x-intercepts. We don't have a y-intercept. All we have is the vertex. So unless we make a table, there's no way we can graph this. So plug in, what do you want to plug in? Negative 2 or negative 4?
Negative 4.
All right, negative 1 or negative 5?
1. Negative 5. 1.
So remember, you only have to plug in one side of the vertex or the other. It's up to you. So I'm going to plug in negative 2. That's a negative 2. Now you can use your calculator at this point if you know how to store negative 2 as a variable. And you can just type in your calculator negative x squared minus 6x minus 6, hit enter, and it'll give you the value. Or you can do it the old-fashioned way, write it all out. Check my work, is it good? What do you get as your answer? Yeah, 4 is negative. 4 is negative, good. And what's the final? I think it comes up to 2. Plugged in negative 2, got an answer of 2, which means negative 40. Over here, you also get an answer of 2. So I get both sides of the vertex just by plugging in 1, because I know it's symmetric. So we go to negative 2, and we go to negative 4, both sides. one more time. Let's do f of either f of -1 or f of -5.
-1.
-1 squared. -6 times -1 -6. I got an answer of -1. What you got?
Yeah.
So we have -1, plug in -1 for x. F of x equals -1. So on the other side, -5 will give you an answer of -1. -1 fails. So that gets -1 gives me -1. -5 gives me -1. Plug in -1, got an answer of -1. Now we have a complete graph. Go ahead and draw a curve, nothing else but a curve. Curve. Remember, these keep on going outward. Do we have a min or max?
Max.
Range is what?
All real.
Range is, yeah. Graph starts at 3, goes down, right? Y equals 3, and then below. Y is less than. Don't forget to put max, don't forget to put domain and range for all of them. Okay. That's your test. That's what you need to go through. Again, this is all on School Loop and YouTube, so if you need to watch it again, if you don't finish this till Sunday, it'll be helpful to watch this one time through. That way when you finish them, you just don't have any hiccups or any stops.